Welcome back to Gods and Heroes Unveiled, where we uncover the epic myths and legends of ancient Greece. Today, we're stepping into the shadows of the mythological bestiary to face the Chimera, a terrifying beast with a lion's roar, a goat's glare, and a serpent's sting. This fire-breathing monster haunted the hills of Lycia, leaving chaos in its wake until a hero dared to challenge it. Want to know its origins, its reign of terror, and its lasting mark on history? Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into this monstrous tale together. Chimera, the evil monster of Greek mythology, mythological bestiary. 1. The birth of the Chimera. In the twisted tapestry of Greek mythology, few creatures are as nightmarish as the Chimera, a hybrid born from the union of chaos and divine malice. This wasn't a beast crafted by nature's gentle hand, but a spawn of the monstrous lineage that plagued the Greek world. According to Hesiod's Theogony, the Chimera was the offspring of Typhon, the towering, serpentine father of monsters, and Echidna, the half-woman, half-snake, mother of all monsters. Together, this fearsome pair birthed a brood of horrors: Cerberus, the Hydra, the Sphinx, and among them, the Chimera stood out as a grotesque masterpiece of terror. Imagine the creature, a lion's head with a mane of matted fur, snarling with razor-sharp teeth, a goat's head sprouting unnaturally from its back, its horns curled and eyes glinting with malice, and a serpent for a tail, hissing and coiling, its venomous fangs ready to strike. But what set the Chimera apart wasn't just its form, it was its breath. The lion's jaws unleashed torrents of fire, scorching the earth and turning foes to ash. This wasn't a random mutation, it was a weapon of destruction, a gift from its monstrous parents to wreak havoc on the mortal realm. The Chimera's birth ties it to the primal forces of Greek cosmology. Typhon was the last great challenger to Zeus, a storm giant with 100 dragon heads, whose battle with the Olympians shook the heavens. Echidna, lurking in her cave, birthed creatures to continue that legacy of defiance. The Chimera, then, wasn't just a monster, it was a symbol of rebellion against divine order, a chaotic force loosed upon the world. Some myths suggest it was born in the volcanic lands near Lycia, its fiery breath mirroring the eruptions that scarred the landscape, a natural fit for a creature of such elemental fury. But why such a bizarre combination? Scholars see the Chimera as a fusion of fears. Lions ruled the wild, goats were stubborn and unpredictable, and serpents embodied death. Together, they formed a nightmare that defied logic, a beast that couldn't be reasoned with or tamed. In Homer's Iliad, it's described as a thing of immortal make, not human, lion-fronted and snake behind, a goat in the middle, and snorting out the breath of the terrible flame. This vivid imagery suggests the Greeks saw it as an aberration, a living paradox born to test the boundaries of heroism. Its siblings add context to its origins. The Chimera wasn't alone in its family tree. Cerberus guarded the underworld, the Hydra lurked in Lerna's swamps, and the Sphinx riddled passers-by to death. Yet the Chimera's roaming nature set it apart. While its kin were tied to specific domains, the Chimera roamed free, a terror without borders. Some tales hint it was unleashed by a vengeful god, perhaps Hera, who loved tormenting heroes, or Poseidon, whose ties to Lycia linger in local lore. Whatever the truth, its birth marked it as a scourge, a challenge no ordinary mortal could face. The setting of its origin adds a layer of mystery. Lycia, a rugged region in what's now southwestern Turkey, was a land of mountains, forests, and hidden valleys, perfect for a monster to stalk. Ancient Lycian myths might have blended with Greek tales, shaping the Chimera into a local bogeyman. Its name, from the Greek chimera meaning she-goat, hints at a simpler origin, perhaps a wild goat exaggerated into a legend, before it grew into the tripartite terror we know today. The Chimera's birth wasn't just a freak event, it was a declaration of war on order and beauty. Born from monsters, fueled by fire, and built to destroy. It embodied the Greeks' deepest fears of the untamed and unknown. As we'll see next, its reign of terror would push humanity to its limits, demanding a hero bold enough to face the flames. 2. Chimera's terror. Once born, the Chimera didn't linger in the shadows. It unleashed a reign of terror that turned Lycia into a land of ash and despair. This wasn't a creature content to lurk in caves or guard treasures like its monstrous kin. The Chimera prowled the hills and valleys, a predator without mercy, its three heads working in deadly harmony. The lion roared as it charged, the goat bleated as it gored with its horns, and the serpent struck from behind, its venom a silent killer. But its true weapon was fire, blazing from the lion's maw. It torched fields, incinerated villages, and left blackened skeletons in its wake. The people of Lycia lived in dread. Farmers abandoned their lands, shepherds fled with their flocks, and travelers avoided the roads where the Chimera roamed. Ancient texts paint a grim picture. Crops reduced to cinders, livestock roasted alive, and entire families vanishing in the night. The Iliad calls it an evil to many, a phrase that barely captures the scale of its devastation. Unlike the Hydra, which stayed near its swamp, or Cerberus, bound to the underworld, the Chimera was a mobile catastrophe, its unpredictability amplifying the fear. Its terror wasn't just physical, it was psychological. The Greeks believed monsters reflected the chaos within humanity, and the Chimera's grotesque form mirrored that dread. A lion's strength, a goat's stubbornness, a serpent's cunning, all fused into a single, unstoppable force. Survivors spoke of its eyes, the lion's fierce glare, the goat's unblinking stare, the serpent's cold menace. Those who escaped its flames rarely escaped the nightmares. Some even saw it as a divine punishment, a curse sent to test Lycia's king, Iobates, or to punish the hubris of mortals. Enter Bellerophon, the hero destined to end this nightmare. Exiled from Corinth after a tragic accident, he sought refuge in Lycia, only to find King Iobates under pressure from the monster's rampage. The king's son-in-law, Proetus, had sent Bellerophon there with a sealed letter, a death sentence ordering Iobates to dispose of him. Instead of a quick execution, Iobates saw an opportunity: send Bellerophon to slay the Chimera, a task no one had survived. It was a cunning move. Either the beast would die, or Bellerophon would, solving the king's problems either way. Bellerophon didn't face the Chimera alone. Guided by the gods, he tamed Pegasus, the winged horse we explored in our last video. With Athena's golden bridle, he mounted Pegasus and took to the skies, turning the hunter into the hunted. The Chimera's fire could torch armies on the ground, but Pegasus gave Bellerophon the advantage of height. Soaring above the beast, he dodged its flames and struck with precision. Some say he rained arrows tipped with poison. Others claim he plunged a lead-tipped spear into its throat, the metal melting in its fiery gullet to choke it from within. The battle was fierce, Pegasus weaving through blasts of heat, Bellerophon aiming true, until the Chimera fell, its three heads silenced at last. This clash wasn't just a physical fight, it was a mythic showdown. The Chimera represented chaos, a force of nature unbound by reason or mercy. Bellerophon, with Pegasus, embodied human courage and divine favor, a fragile hope against overwhelming odds. The Greeks loved these tales of triumph, heroes facing the impossible and emerging scarred but victorious. Art from the time captures the moment. Vases show Pegasus rearing above the Chimera, Bellerophon's spear poised, flames licking the air. The Chimera's terror ended with its death, but its shadow lingered. Lycia bore the scars of its rampage, charred forests, abandoned villages, a reminder of what it had wrought. For Bellerophon, the victory was bittersweet. His pride would later lead to his downfall, as we've seen. Yet the Chimera's defeat marked a turning point, a rare win against the monstrous brood of Typhon and Echidna. its story didn't fade. It grew, as we'll explore in its lasting legacy. 3. The legacy of the Chimera. The Chimera's death at Bellerophon's hands didn't erase it from the Greek imagination. It cemented its place as one of mythology's most enduring horrors. This wasn't a creature that slipped quietly into oblivion. Its legacy roared on, shaping art, language, and even science for centuries. Unlike Pegasus, who soared to the stars, the Chimera stayed earthbound in memory, a symbol of chaos defeated, yet never fully forgotten. Its three-headed terror left a mark that stretched far beyond the hills of Lycia. In ancient Greece, the Chimera became a cultural icon of the monstrous. Potters painted it on black figure vases, its lion head snarling, goat head rearing, serpent tail coiled, often with Bellerophon and Pegasus in mid-strike. These images weren't just decoration. They were talismans of triumph, reminders that even the worst evils could be vanquished. Sculptors carved it into temple reliefs, its grotesque form a warning to worshippers of the dangers lurking beyond civilization. In Lycia, locals might have seen it as a twisted reflection of their volcanic landscape, where fire and smoke mirrored its breath. Its name, Chimera, became a word with legs. In Greek, Chimera meant she-goat, a nod to its middle head, but over time it evolved into something broader. By the classical era, it signified any fantastical hybrid, a catch-all for the bizarre and unnatural. This linguistic shift carried into Latin and beyond. Today, chimera means a dreamlike illusion or a scientific blend, like a hybrid organism in genetics. The monster's legacy literally rewrote the dictionary, a testament to its grip on the human psyche. The Chimera story also inspired moral and philosophical threads. To the Greeks, it was more than a beast. It was chaos incarnate, a challenge to the order Zeus fought to impose. Its defeat by Bellerophon echoed tales like Theseus and the Minotaur or Perseus and Medusa, heroes taming the wild to protect humanity. Yet its existence raised questions. Why did such horrors arise? Was it divine wrath, a test, or simply the world's untamed nature breaking through? Poets and thinkers wrestled with this, seeing the Chimera as a mirror to humanity's own inner conflicts. Its influence spread beyond Greece. The Romans, ever fond of Greek myths, adopted the Chimera into their art and literature. Virgil's Aeneid nods to it as a fearsome specter, and Roman mosaics depict its battle with Bellerophon in vivid tiles. In the Middle Ages, it morphed into a Christian symbol of evil, its hybrid form likened to sin's many faces. By the Renaissance, artists like Gustave Moreau painted it in dramatic oils, its heads locked in eternal struggle, a far cry from its Greek roots, yet still recognizable. In science, the Chimera's legacy took a literal turn. Biologists use chimera for organisms with mixed DNA, like a plant grafted from two species or an animal with cells from multiple embryos. This echoes the monster's patchwork nature, a nod to its ancient strangeness. Even in archaeology, the chimera haunts us. Some link it to real fossils found in Lycia, like lion bones or snake remains, that might have sparked the myth. Others tie it to the region's eternal flames, natural gas vents that burn endlessly, inspiring tales of a fire-breathing beast. Today, the Chimera lurks in pop culture. Video games like God of War pit players against its fiery wrath, while fantasy novels reimagine it as a dragon-like terror. Its image graces everything from tattoos to heraldry, a badge of the wild and untamed. Unlike Pegasus, who inspires hope, the Chimera evokes awe and dread, a reminder of the thin line between order and anarchy. The Chimera's legacy is its duality, a monster slain, yet never truly gone. It lives in the stories we tell, the fears we face, and the hybrids we create. From Lycia's ashes to modern labs, it remains a symbol of the strange and uncontrollable, a beast that, even in defeat, refuses to be tamed. Outro. That's the wild tale of the Chimera, from its monstrous birth to its fiery terror and enduring legacy. What do you think? Could you face this beast, or would you run from its flames? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this dive into the mythological bestiary, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more epic Greek adventures. Thanks for watching Gods and Heroes Unveiled. See you next week for another legendary tale.